Over the last few weeks, Damian Lillard trade talks have cooled off, and it doesn't seem like the Portland Trail Blazers will entertain any trade talks or engage in any talks right now. Damian is the face of the Blazers franchise, and one they seriously don't want to lose. Still, there's that lingering feeling that doesn't want to leave no matter how many times Lillard comes out to say that he wants to remain a Blazers for life or how many times he says he's staying put. It just doesn't leave. And it's been like that for the past 2 or 3 off seasons. Lillard is one of the best players in the world at the moment, and he's clearly outgrown the Blazers. But he's repeatedly told the media and those around the franchise that he's looking forward to playing in Portland for his entire career. But that doesn't mean that the Blazers are in the clear right now. They need to make moves and show him that they can match his ambitions so that he can stay for the long run. Because this is the trade market we're talking about here, and until the market closes, you can never know. Lillard has been with the Trailblazers for his entire 9-year professional career in the NBA, but the rumors won't die anytime soon about him looking for a way out of Portland. Lillard has repeatedly denied that, saying, "You get to a position where it's like, do I defend myself or do I just say nothing? For me, when I'm just hearing stuff that's not the facts, I'm gonna say that I didn't say that. Some things I've just gotta let it be said. I know what the truth is. I know where I stand. It's not my duty to make the public know. It's not my job to make them aware of what that is. I let people talk and just stay true to who I am, and I stand on that. If I say something, I stand on what I said." It is what it is at this point. Despite this, Lillard cannot deny the fact that he's been eyeing other teams, like the Warriors for instance. Lillard has also spoken up about his frustration with the front office and a need for more urgency in determining where the future of the franchise lies. Simply put, Lillard is not in any way happy with the current Portland squad. Last season, Portland lost to the Denver Nuggets in the first round of the 2021 playoffs. What would have frustrated Damian even more is the fact that they lost to a team that was suffering from multiple injuries. They didn't lose to just any team, they lost to one of the worst teams in the league. That's how bad the Trailblazers are. The year before that, it was the same story, as Portland once again lost in the first round. Lillard is 31 years old and has just a few more years ahead of him in the league at his prime. At the root of his problem with the Blazers is that the current team does not have a shot at winning the chip. This is probably why Portland general manager Neil O'Shea quickly hired Chauncey Billups as head coach to set the team back on track and maybe hope to convince their main man to stay. And while Lillard originally supported the hire, Billups' past rape allegation has made it difficult for him to support the coach. When you listen again to all Lillard has said concerning himself in the trade market, Lillard is smart enough to understand that even if the Blazers wanted to do a deal for him, they will have a hard time doing so as there's little value in the trade market for him right now. So he's definitely trying to be as delicate as possible without committing either. For instance, in this place where he says, "Some things I've just gotta let it be said. I know what the truth is. I know where I stand. It's not my duty to make the public know. It's not my job to make them aware of what that is." If you actually listen to what he's saying, he's more or less saying, "I haven't formally demanded a trade, but don't sit and think that everything's great." Lillard is making it clear that he's not happy, but he's stopping himself from saying, "Get me the hell out of here." One of the reasons for that is probably because Lillard has a good relationship with everyone at the Blazers, both with his teammates that play alongside him and people within the organization. Lillard knows how wanting a trade when the team doesn't have the intention to trade you can get really messy. There have been many examples of this in the past, with the recent one being that Harden and Houston Rockets, and we all know how that went down. There's even the Ben Simmons saga going down now, which is another good example. Lillard doesn't want to go that route, especially because it doesn't look like any championship caliber is chasing him right now, and it wouldn't make sense for him to leave Portland to another franchise that doesn't have the chance to win him a chip. That's why Lillard has been outspoken about the team's current status and hasn't shielded away from controversies. He's more or less saying that they are just not good enough to compete right now. You can say he's playing it safe for now, although I wonder how long he can play that for, and if he'll continue to do that when a team like the Warriors comes calling. Also, Lillard doesn't want the narrative to be that he wants out of Portland. Rather, he wants the narrative to be that the Blazers aren't doing enough to help their main man. While that's pretty fair and valid, it's a little cunning, but the Blazers won't mind as long as he's still playing for them. Lillard has repeatedly carried the Blazers on his back, and without him on that team, they would not be making the playoffs year after year, even after the number of injuries the team suffered. As well as questionable coaching and having one of the worst defenses in the NBA, the team continues to make the playoffs, and it's all down to one player: Damian. And Damian knows it, and we can all agree to it too that if he doesn't leave the Blazers, especially since they've failed to put any quality around him, Lillard won't achieve his dream of winning an NBA championship. Right now, the clock is ticking, and Lillard knows it, and that's why he's discussing urgency and putting pressure on the front office. There are a few talents like Damian in the league, and he's easily one of the best scoring point guards in NBA history. Last season alone, Lillard averaged 28.8 points per game while draining 39.1 of his three-pointers. When it comes to deep range and clutch shooting, Lillard is absolutely the best in the league. Philadelphia has Joel Embiid to go in the clutch. But it's often difficult for a center to handle the ball the way Damian does and create his own offense when his team needs it most. That's why Shaquille O'Neal often deferred to Kobe Bryant in crunch time despite being a 3-time Finals MVP. Embiid can certainly defer to Damian Lillard. Lillard has that ability to create his own offense anytime he wants, and he has no problem taking all the responsibility if he misses or makes shots. When you think about it, Lillard is the complete opposite of Ben Simmons, and that's why Lillard to Philadelphia is like the best possible trade for Damian right now, or perhaps there's a chance that both of them might even play in the same team. And I'm talking about them playing together at Portland. The major thing that makes this deal difficult is that the 76ers still want a star in return for Simmons who can help them stay in contention, and they are most likely going to ask for Lillard. There have even been reports that even though Philadelphia has discussed deals with the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Toronto Raptors, and many others, it's Lillard that the front office is really interested in. On the other hand, I don't see the Blazers accepting any deal for Lillard, but they might be willing to give CJ McCollum in return for Simmons. But that's a deal I doubt Philadelphia will be interested in. Ben Simmons is one of the best defenders in the league who is looking for any way out of Philadelphia. And given that the Trailblazers have one of the worst defenses in the league, if not the worst really, so having Ben Simmons in the same team will most likely improve their chances of reaching the NBA title. And a team with one of the best defenders in the league and one of the best scoring guards should make the Trailblazers genuine contenders. This is what Lillard must have been thinking when he saw a Photoshop picture of himself alongside Ben Simmons, both wearing Portland Trailblazers uniforms. Lillard then went ahead to like the tweet. Even now, the like is still visible on Lillard's Twitter page. Maybe this is Lillard telling the Blazers that this is the kind of deal he expects them to be working on. Their attention would have been brought to it when he liked the post, but any deal like this would mean that Damian's longtime co-star and friend might be sacrificed in a trade for Simmons. The only thing is that the Sixers will be holding out in hopes to land the bigger prize, which is Lillard. That won't be happening because the Blazers have made it clear that they don't want to lose their main man. The Blazers will have their doubts in making a Simmons-McCollum trade and will need to be sure that Simmons would catapult the team into title challengers before they can make it happen. Another thing is, Lillard and Simmons playing on the same team looks like the real deal on paper, but some people within the Blazers organization are not sure how well Simmons and Lillard would fit together. Simmons wants to play a Magic Johnson role, which requires him having the ball in his hands. But excuse me, that's Lillard's job? Lillard can decide to play without the ball more often, but in the end, it's his team and he'll want the ball majority of the time. If they decide to play together, I see Lillard winning the argument, and that would mean Simmons would have to play a role he isn't used to. The main thing here is that both players would have to adjust, and given that they are both professionals, that shouldn't be too difficult. There would be a long conversation between the coach and the two players, as well as personal conversations between the two players. Each player would have to sacrifice a part of their game. But Simmons' ability to stop an offense and instantly create a new one, combined with Lillard's ability as a spot-up shooter, as well as the boost Simmons would provide defensively, should outweigh any reason for the two to fight about who should have the ball. The Warriors are another suitable team that could make a trade for Lillard, and the point guard has never shied away from his affection for the franchise. A lot of people might know this already, but Lillard is a Bay Area guy who grew up in Oakland, so playing for the Warriors would definitely mean the world to him. Lillard has spoken about his affection for the franchise, saying, "It's a special connection. It means a lot to me because it's similar to when I go home to Oakland and I play against the Golden State Warriors. When they call my name in the starting lineups, the crowd shows me a lot of love. It's a great level of appreciation on my side because these are the people that had this type of appreciation for me before the rest of the world even knew who I was. I never lose sight of that. I never take that for granted." Lillard has made it no secret in recent years that he keeps a close eye on the Warriors. When Stephen Curry was struggling, Lillard was the first to point it out. However, no matter how much he would love to move to the Warriors, or even more precisely, a pathway to a deal to land Lillard in the Bay, simply doesn't exist at the moment. But if that changes in any way, you should expect to see Lillard playing for the Warriors at some point. Whether Damian fails to admit it or not, he will have to leave Portland at some point if he wants to achieve his aim of winning a chip before the end of his career. Loyalty is good, but loyalty does not earn you rings or make you one of the best players of your generation. It's the number of rings you win that does the talking for you or put you in that conversation in the first place. Comment below to let us know your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe for more. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss another one of our videos. We'll see you next time, latest Hoops fans. Until then, keep shooting your shot.